Ever looked at a world map and thought it was set in stone? Well, think again. What if I told you that the continents we know and love are constantly on the move, and in the distant future, our planet will look completely unrecognizable? Today, we're time-traveling millions of years into the future to reveal the next supercontinents. Let's start with a quick refresher. Our planet's surface isn't one solid piece. It's broken up into massive slabs called tectonic plates, which are floating on a layer of semi-molten rock called the mantle. Think of them like crackers floating on a thick, gooey soup. These plates are always moving, grinding past each other, colliding, and pulling apart. This movement is what causes earthquakes, creates volcanoes, and, over immense timescales, rearranges the entire globe. This whole process is called plate tectonics, and it's the engine driving the continental drift. Right now, the Atlantic Ocean is getting wider, pushing the Americas away from Europe and Africa. Meanwhile, the Pacific Ocean is shrinking. This might seem incredibly slow, but over millions of years, these tiny movements add up to some epic geographical makeovers. Throughout Earth's history, the continents have come together to form supercontinents and then broken apart again in a cyclical pattern. You've probably heard of the most famous one, Pangaea, which existed about 300 million years ago. But there were others before it, like Rodinia and Columbia. We're currently in the breaking apart phase of the last cycle, but scientists predict that in the future, the continents will inevitably merge once more. So, what will this future world look like? Geologists have come up with a few fascinating models based on current plate movements. The first, and perhaps most likely, is called Pangaea Proxima. The name literally means the next Pangaea. In this scenario, the Atlantic Ocean stops expanding and starts to shrink. A new subduction zone, an area where one tectonic plate slides beneath another, forms along the eastern coasts of North and South America. This is like a giant geological conveyor belt, pulling the ocean floor down into the mantle. As the Atlantic closes, the Americas will slowly drift back towards Africa and Europe. Africa is also predicted to continue its northward march, colliding with Europe and closing the Mediterranean Sea, creating a massive mountain range similar to the Himalayas. Australia will smash into Southeast Asia, and Antarctica will move north towards the newly formed landmass. Imagine it. Around 250 million years from now, almost all the continents are squished together into one enormous supercontinent, with a small inland ocean, a remnant of the old Indian Ocean, trapped in the middle. North America and Africa will be neighbors once again. It's a mind-bending reunion. But that's not the only possibility. Another compelling theory is the Amasia model. This one is a bit different. Instead of the Atlantic closing, the Amasia hypothesis suggests that the Atlantic and Indian Oceans keep expanding. This pushes all the continents, except Antarctica, to drift north and gather around the North Pole. In this future, Asia and North America will merge, closing the Arctic Ocean and the Bering Strait. The name Amasia comes from this union of America and Asia. The other continents would follow suit, clustering together in the northern hemisphere. Can you picture it? A giant landmass at the top of the world, with the Pacific Ocean wrapping around most of the planet and the Atlantic stretched into a mega-ocean on the other side. Antarctica would be left all by itself at the South Pole. This scenario is like a global huddle at the top of the world. Then there's a third, wilder idea called Aurica. In this model, both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans close simultaneously. A new rift would split the Eurasian continent in half, from India to the Arctic. As the Pacific and Atlantic close, the Americas and the eastern part of Asia would drift westward, while Australia, Antarctica, Africa, and the western part of Eurasia would drift eastward. Where do they meet? Right in the middle of what used to be the Pacific Ocean. This would form a new supercontinent, Aurica, centered on the equator. Australia would be right at the heart of this new landmass. This model is fascinating because it involves the creation of a brand new ocean basin right through Asia. So which one is it going to be? Pangaea Proxima, Amasia, or Aurica? The truth is, we don't know for sure. Projecting plate movements over hundreds of millions of years is incredibly complex. Unforeseen geological events could change everything. But based on what we know now, these are the leading scientific predictions. Now, you might be wondering, what would life be like on these future supercontinents? It would be extreme. The interior of a massive landmass like Pangaea Proxima or Aurica would be a vast, arid desert. Think of Siberia or the Australian outback, but on a continental scale. Coastal areas might be more habitable, but they'd be battered by mega monsoons. The climate would be drastically different, with huge temperature swings between summer and winter. The formation of these supercontinents would also trigger massive volcanic activity and mountain building, dramatically changing landscapes and ecosystems. This would lead to major extinction events, but also create opportunities for new life forms to evolve and adapt to these strange new worlds. The very definition of normal would be rewritten. It's humbling to think that the ground beneath our feet is part of such a slow, powerful, and unstoppable dance. The world we live in is just a single frame in an epic geological movie that has been playing for billions of years and will continue for billions more. The continents of the future are already taking shape, 1 centimeter at a time. What do you think our future world will look like? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this journey into the future as fascinating as I did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the wonders of our universe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.